Hi all, Misty here with Pixel Financial Group. So I'm going to try to keep this down to one video today. I do have a couple of small updates as well as some information regarding the payroll tax credits that are going to be available for employers. So I'm going to build this so that you don't have to watch the whole video if it doesn't apply to you. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the update for the unemployment, and then I'm going to talk about an update on the PPP loans, and then I'm going to talk about the payroll tax credits that are available to our employers. So if you're an individual that you don't want to watch past the unemployment portion of it, I totally get it. I'm going to try to keep this down to about 10 minutes, but there is a lot of information. So for the unemployment, somebody asked me a really great question yesterday that I feel needs to be addressed in this video. And that question is, what about church employees? Churches are typically exempt from paying into the unemployment system, although some volunteer to do so. So if you were to lose your job with a church for any other normal reason, you would not be able to qualify for unemployment in the state of Virginia. And I know that this is being handled on a state-by-state basis, and I really don't have any perfect answers for you here. All I can do is make some assumptions. So while I have no official guidance, my theory is, my suspicion is, that they're going to treat it a lot like self-employed individuals who also do not pay into the unemployment system. So if you apply, you may get denied for the Virginia state benefits, that weekly benefit allowance. However, the $600 is still going to be available. So instead of getting weekly benefit amounts plus the $600, you'll just get the $600. Now, again, I don't know for sure if that's how the state of Virginia is going to handle it, and nobody seems to have official guidance on it, but it's my suspicion. Here's what I know for a fact. Is it's not going to hurt for you to go and apply. If you get denied for whatever reason, you're not in any worse of a situation than you were before. So if you go and apply and you're able to get through the process successfully or unsuccessfully, I would love to hear from you so I can get the information out to people about what they need to do in regards to their church employment. All right, I'm going to move on to the PPP loans. Last Thursday, they came out with guidance that anything that was not forgiven in a PPP loan was going to be paid off over 2 years at 0.5%. Well, the banks very quickly realized, as they are the ones who are administering these loans, that they were going to lose money at 0.5%. So they did a little bit of pushback, and the government said, you know what, you're right. We can't have you losing money in all of this too. So we're going to raise it to 1%. So when you go to get that PPP loan, just know that it's no longer 0.5%, it's 1%. And honestly, it could change again, but that's the information we have for now. So just when you go and you're not surprised that the interest rate has actually increased. Now I'm going to move on to the payroll tax credits that are going to be available for our employers. And the first one I want to talk about is the employee retention tax credit. A couple of important things here is that you cannot have this tax credit as well as the payroll protection program loan. It's one or the other. So it's something that you need to keep in mind and analyze as you're moving forward to make sure that you're making the right decision for your business. These loans, this credit is going to be available for qualifying payroll on March 13th through December 31st of 2020. Only those dates, and it's only qualifying payroll. Now, what is qualifying payroll? Well, first of all, you have to be eligible to get the credit. And in order to be eligible to get the credit, your income will have to have been reduced by 50% or more from the comparable quarters. So you're going to compare quarter 2 of 2019 with quarter 2 of 2020 and decide whether or not you're eligible for this credit. Now, the amount of the credit is capped at $10,000, and it's 50% of your qualifying payroll. So if between March 13th and December 31st, 2020, you pay an employee $10,000, you are going to get a $5,000 tax credit, providing that you are eligible for it, to set against your employer taxes. You're basically the employer portion of your Social Security. So what will happen is you will file your 941s, and let's say you owe $3,000 for Social Security, the employer portion. you will be able to take that $5,000 credit and apply it against the 941 by simply not paying the $3,000. Now that leaves $2,000 of a credit left over for which you can request a refund by filling out Form 7200. And if you Google it, it pops right up and it's there and easy to fill out. Now, here's what we don't know is how are we going to prove to the IRS that that is what you are doing? And right now we have no guidance on that. There's not a form that we have to fill out. There's no way of us communicating to the IRS that you're taking this credit except for to fill out the 941 and then just not pay the Social Security, the employer portion of the Social Security. So maybe they're going to modify the 941. I don't know, but that's where we're at right now. So it's just one of these really gray areas that we're learning as we go. So no, I have no way of communicating what we're doing to the IRS at the moment, but that's essentially how they are rolling that program out. All right, so the second credit I want to talk about is the COVID-19 related leave. It's basically the FMLA provisions to COVID-19 for employers with fewer than 500 employees. Now, there are one of 6 reasons that employers are going to be paying for COVID related leave. And employers who pay their employees paid leave for these reasons are going to get a 100% reimbursement for it in the form of a tax credit. This is why COVID-related paid leave is not included as an acceptable expense for the PPP, because you are going to get reimbursed for it ultimately. And the 6 reasons, and I'm going to go through my notes here, that qualify for the reimbursable paid leave through the tax credit is 1, your employees are subject to federal, state, or local quarantine isolation as a result of COVID-19. And now we've seen some of that where we've got stay-at-home orders and there are non-essential businesses that simply aren't working because they don't have the ability to telework. 2, has been advised by a healthcare provider, the employee has been advised by a healthcare provider to self-quarantine for reasons related to COVID-19. Leave is paid for anyone who is experiencing COVID-19 symptoms and is seeking a medical diagnosis. The 4th reason is that you're caring for an individual who is experiencing symptoms of COVID-19, has been asked to quarantine. So that's another reason that this would be reimbursed. And then a 5th reason is that you are caring for a child or an individual for which you are the primary caregiver, because they can no longer go to school or their day facility that they're usually at while you're working. That's another reason that paid leave might happen as a result of COVID-19. And the 6th reason is that you are experiencing any, what they call, and I quote, substantially similar conditions specified by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. So if an employer is paying any kind of paid leave as a direct result of these 6 reasons, again, you're going to get a 100% reimbursement from the federal government in the form of a tax credit. So it's going to be very important for you to be tracking this stuff. And I know a lot of payroll providers are actually creating forms for everybody so that they can keep good records of who is taking leave for what. So if you are with a payroll provider, then contact them and see what they're doing to help you, because I know they're also putting special payroll codes in place in order to track that leave so that 1, you're not accidentally paying it with PPP funds, and 2, you're able to take advantage of that tax credit. All right, as always, everybody, if you have questions, I would love to hear what they are. I can create update videos later, so please feel free to reach out, comment on this video, do anything that you need to do to get me your questions, and I'll see what I can do to address them. Thanks for everything. We'll talk to you soon, and it was good to see you all.